Hello students, today we are going to start a concrete example which is a part of Unit 1 Wit and Wisdom of Class 8 NCERT Poorvi. Today we will do question and answers fully. So here comes the summary of the poem. A concrete example. The poem describes Mrs. Jones, the speaker's next door neighbor, who has a unique garden filled with a variety of unusual plants and features including a peculiar pond, a rockery, and an unusual flower she finds charming. Mrs. Jones plants tiny seedlings between the stones, which the speaker thinks must be so small that they are planted with a needle. One day Mrs. Jones invites the speaker to see the garden and they discuss a rare plant. The speaker asks where the flower has been growing, and Mrs. Jones says that the butterfly has been on it all along. Now here comes the summary in Hindi. कविता में वक्ता की पड़ोसी श्रीमती जोन्स का वर्णन किया गया है, जिनके पास एक अनोखा बागीचा है जिसमें कई तरह के असामान्य पौधे और विशेषताएं हैं, जिसमें एक अनोखा तालाब, एक चट्टानी क्षेत्र और एक असामान्य फूल शामिल है जो उन्हें आकर्षक लगता है। श्रीमती जोन्स पत्थरों के बीच छोटे छोटे पौधे लगाती हैं, जिनके बारे में वक्ता सोचता है कि वे इतने छोटे होंगे कि उन्हें सुई से लगाया गया होगा। एक दिन श्रीमती जोन्स वक्ता को अपना बागीचा देखने के लिए आमंत्रित करती हैं और वे एक दुर्लभ पौधे पर चर्चा करते हैं। वक्ता पूछता है कि फूल कहाँ उग रहा है और श्रीमती जोन्स कहती हैं कि तितली हमेशा से उस पर रही है। Now let's start with the activities with the solution. Let us do these activities before we read. Read the names of items you usually find in a garden and write their names against each picture given below. Garden hose, sapling, hedge, flower beds, flower pot, pebbles, rockery, fence, vine, wheelbarrow. Now see students, these are the pictures which are given in the book, and according to the pictures I have written the answer. See, here are the items found in a garden matched to the descriptions. First one is hedge, next wheelbarrow, then sapling, after that flower beds, fence, flower pot, pebbles, garden hose, vine, rockery. Now walk in groups of 4. What kind of garden would you like to have? Mention the features that you can include and the reasons for your choice. Share your answers with your classmates and teacher. Working in a group of 4, we have discussed the kind of garden we would like to have. Here's what we came up with. We would love to have a sensory garden that engages all 5 senses. Here are the features we would include and our reasons are: foresight, colorful flower beds. We would plant a variety of flowers like marigolds, petunias and sunflowers for their vibrant colors. This would create a visually appealing space and provide a sense of cheerfulness. Artistic sculptures, water feature. A small, aesthetically pleasing sculpture or a gentle fountain would add a focal point and visual interest. Varying heights and textures. We would incorporate plants of different heights and leaf textures to create visual depth and appeal. For sound, wind chimes, strategically placed wind chimes would produce soothing sounds, especially on breezy days. Bird feeders and baths. These would attract birds, adding their natural songs to the garden's ambience. Gentle water feature. A small trickling fountain or pond would provide a calming auditory experience. For smell, fragrant flowers and herbs. We would plant highly scented flowers like roses, lavender and jasmine, as well as aromatic herbs like mint and rosemary. The goal is to fill the air with pleasant natural scents. Citrus trees, if climate permits. The fresh scent of citrus blossoms and fruit is incredibly invigorating. For touch, soft textured plant. We would include plants with interesting textures such as lamb's ear, fuzzy, succulents, smooth and fleshy, or ornamental grasses, feathery, encouraging visitors to touch and explore. Smooth stepping stones or pebble path. A path made of smooth stones or pebbles would offer a unique tactile experience for barefoot, similar to the crazy path in Mrs. Jones' garden but designed for comfort. For taste, edible herb garden. We would dedicate a section to culinary herbs like basil, thyme and parsley, which could be used for cooking. Small fruit bushes or vegetable patch. Depending on space, we would love to have berry bushes, strawberries, blueberries, or a small patch for easy to grow vegetables like cherry tomatoes or leafy greens. This would allow for fresh, direct from the garden snacks. The reason for choosing a sensory garden is to create a holistic and immersive outdoor experience that is not only beautiful but also stimulating and relaxing. It would be a space for enjoyment, exploration and connection with nature, catering to a wider range of experiences than just visual appeal. Now read the title of the poem. What comes to your mind when you read the word concrete? Does it have more than one meaning? Share your answers with your classmates and teacher. When I read the word concrete in the title of the poem, several things come to my mind, and yes, it definitely has more than one meaning. Here's what I would share with classmates and the teacher. Building material. The first and the most common meaning that pops into my head is the hard, grey building material, a mixture of cement, sand, gravel and water. This makes me think of sidewalks, buildings and strong solid structures. Given the context of a garden, it might suggest a garden with a lot of paved areas or perhaps a stark man-made field contrasting with natural elements. Specific and tangible. Another meaning of concrete refers to something that is specific, definite, real and tangible, rather than as abstract or theoretical. For example, can you give me a concrete example? This meaning could hint that the poem will describe something very real and perhaps unusually specific or unusual about the garden. Just as Mrs. Jones' garden is described with its crazy path and sundial with a strange device, it suggests the poem will deal with observable facts rather than feelings or ideas. Set in stone, unchanging. Related to the above, concrete can also imply something fixed, unchangeable, or set in stone. This might suggest that the garden or aspects of it are permanent and perhaps not easily altered, or that Mrs. Jones has a very particular and unchanging vision for her garden. Considering the poem is about a garden full of stones and a crazy path, the title, A Concrete Example, could be a clever play on both meanings. A garden made of concrete or at least many stones, and also a very real and specific example of a unique garden. It sets up an expectation for something tangible and perhaps a bit unusual. Complete the following summary with extract words from the poem. One example has been done for you. Share your answer with your classmates and teacher. The poem describes Mrs. Jones, the speaker's next door neighbor, who has a unique garden filled with stones. Her garden includes a peculiar path, a pond, and a rockery, along with an unusual sundial that she finds charming. Mrs. Jones plants tiny, delicate plants between the stones, which the speaker thinks must be so small that they are planted with a pin. One day, Mrs. Jones invites the speaker to see her garden and they discuss a flower. Speaker asks where the lovely flower that Mrs. Jones treasures. When the flower is, Mrs. Jones says that the speaker has been standing on it all along. Select the correct option to fill in the blanks for the following sentences. The tone of the poem is mournful, amusing, and light-hearted. That is D. The speaker in the poem is the poet. Answer will be the poet. The rhyme scheme of the poem is AABBCC. Number 1. AABBCC. Complete the following sentences by choosing the correct answer given in the brackets. The poet uses the word stones in all stanzas in order to emphasize her obsession with her stony garden. The poet uses imagery to describe the features of the garden that help readers visualize the garden's peculiar nature. A refrain is a repeated line or phrase that appears in each stanza. Identify the refrain from the poem. The answer will be my next door neighbor, Mrs. Jones. Next one. Irony is a literary device that emphasizes the difference between what is expected and what actually happens. It often involves a situation where the outcome is the opposite of what is expected, creating a surprising or a humorous effect. For example, Mrs. Jones' excitement about her garden contrasts with the speaker's disappointment on how ordinary it is. Identify the line or lines from the poem that display or displays situational irony. Now the answer will be, the lines are, has got a garden full of stones, puts little plants between the stones. I can't think how she gets them in unless she plants them with a pin. Now next one, complete the following sentences appropriately. The word concrete can refer to specific and tangible things in Mrs. Jones' garden. Number 2. The title also has a symbolic meaning, as the poem provides a clear or concrete example of Mrs. Jones' peculiar gardening habits. Now let us think and reflect. Read the given and answer the questions that follow. My next door neighbor, Mrs. Jones, has got a garden full of stones, a crazy path, a lily pond, a rockery, and just beyond a sundial with a strange device which Mrs. Jones thinks rather nice. What can be inferred about Mrs. Jones' taste in gardening from the description of a garden being full of stones? The garden full of stones suggests a few things about Mrs. Jones. She prefers for low maintenance gardening. She desires to create a unique garden. She likes to use stones for creating paths and borders. She does not care what other people think about her. She does what she likes. Identify whether the following statement is true or false. The garden serves as a means to reveal more about Mrs. Jones herself. True. What does the poet mean by crazy path? By crazy path, the poet wants to tell us about the unusual garden of Mrs. Jones. Her garden was full of stones and the stones were fitted with each other randomly. No pattern was used there in making the path of the garden. Next one. What does the sundial with a strange device suggest about Mrs. Jones' personality? She has a fascination with unusual items. What does the sundial with a strange device suggest about Mrs. Jones' personality? The answer is, she has a fascination with unusual items. Answer the following questions. How does Mrs. Jones feel about her garden? Support your answer with evidence from the poem. Mrs. Jones is obsessed with her stony garden. She has a fascination with unusual things. She feels proud of her garden and is pleased with it. She thinks that her garden looks very pleasant, however it is overly decorated and eccentric. The following line from the poem supports this answer, which Mrs. Jones thinks rather nice. Number 2. Why do you think the speaker describes the plants as being so small that they could be planted with a pin? The speaker's description of the plants being so small that they could be planted with a pin is a humorous exaggeration that is to mock the overuse of stones and very less space for plants to grow. The poet is poking fun at how insignificant these tiny plants are. What do we get to know? Shout Mrs. Jones based on her gardening style and her interaction with the speaker. We find that Mrs. Jones is obsessed with her stony garden and she has a fascination for unusual things. Her garden is full of stones, paths, rockeries and concrete with very little space for real plants. This shows that she is proud possibly eccentric person who values decorative control over natural beauty. She is content and even pleased with her unique taste regardless of others' quiet amusement. The poem portrays Mrs. Jones in a positive light. Support this statement. The poem portrays Mrs. Jones in a positive light as she is portrayed for her practical wisdom and assertiveness. She has a unique taste. She is a strong and capable woman. She is confident and practical, and she reshapes the environment according to her taste. What does the poem tell us about the way people think differently about the world around them? The poem tells us that different people have different opinions about the world around them. Mrs. Jones thinks her garden to be very pleasant, but the poet finds it strange. It is okay for Mrs. Jones that her garden is filled with stones and there is very little space for plants, but for the poet it is not normal. Let us learn. Select the appropriate word from the brackets that correctly replaces the underlined word in the sentences from the text. A sundial with a strange device. The answer will be peculiar. Which Mrs. Jones thinks rather nice, charming. They are so delicate, fragile. Where is this lovely thing? I cried, exclaimed. The sundial is referred to as a device in the poem. Work in pairs to infer the meaning of the device. Share your thoughts with your classmates and teacher. Now match the type of instruments in column 1 with their definitions in column 2. Column 3 shows one example of each type of instrument. Add more examples in column 3. Now the answer is column 1, implement. Column 2, something that works on being moved by hand. Column 3, spade, knife, hoe, rake, shovel. Number 2, column 1, tool. Column 2, something used by hand to make or repair. Now, column 3, hammer, screwdriver, wrench, pilers. Column 1, 3, equipment. Column 2, a set of nursery items for a particular purpose. Column 3, cricket bat, helmet, batting gloves, etc. Camping gear, camera kit, laboratory apparatus. Column 1, 4, appliance. Column 2, something that is electrical and is used to do work in the house. Column 3, mixer grinder, refrigerator, washing machine, toaster. Column 1, 5, gadget. Column 2, something small that is mechanical or electronic. Column 3, mobile phone, laptop, smartwatch, drone, portable speaker. Now complete the table by making new words in column 1 using the hints given in column 2. Replace the first letter of the given word to create new words. One example has been done for you. Column 1, nice. Now number 1, dice. Now column 2, cut into small pieces. 2, rice. Column 2, grain that we cook. Column 1, 3, mice. Column 2, plural of mouse. Column 1 for vice. Column 2, bad habit. Now answer number 2 of same question. Column 1 boil. Column 2 heat something. Column 1 2 toil. Column 2 work very hard. Column 1 3 coil. Column 2 length of wire in a circle. Column 1 4 foil. Column 2 sheets to wrap food items. Now students, I have completed all the questions and with the solutions. If you have any query, please come to the comment box. You are most welcome to comment me in my comment box. Thank you.